Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. The NEET UG 2026 examination that was held on the 3rd of May for admission into undergraduate medical courses has been cancelled following reports of a paper leak. Around 22 lakh students appeared for the exam, many of them spending months preparing for this moment, only to now face uncertainty because of the actions of a few. The National Testing Agency has said that information collected by law enforcement agencies indicated that the exam process could not be allowed to stand and a fresh exam will be conducted, with dates to be announced soon. The controversy centers on Rajasthan, where the state police's Special Operations Group investigated allegations that a handwritten guest paper circulated just days before the exam partially matched the actual questions. Around 140 questions, to be specific, worth 600 marks out of 720 were reportedly similar. The National Testing Agency has now transferred the probe to the CBI. Workers of the NSUI have staged a protest against the central government. Students were seen holding placards and raising slogans during this demonstration. Take a look at the scale of the alleged scam. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about 22.7 lakh students who have actually taken this examination. The exam centers were at 5,400 plus. There's also the number of questions that have matched. It's 100 plus questions that have actually matched in this case. 30,000 copies were circulated and it was reportedly sold for between 20,000 to 5 lakh rupees. Over 45 people have been detained, we understand, as far as this entire matter is concerned, and investigators are now identifying key suspects in the alleged leak network. But despite detentions and mounting evidence, questions are already being raised over the pace of legal action and the absence of an FIR so far. What are we talking about in terms of the mastermind of this entire case? The mastermind is Manish Yadav. He has allegedly been the person who has looked at the entire controversy and has been detained part of the entire scam. The distributor was allegedly this individual called Rakesh Mandavaria, and he has been detained as well, is what we understand. There's also another person who has been arrested, and this is of course the individual from Nasik, and the probe is gathering steam after this Nasik angle has emerged. Shubham Khairnar, a resident of Indranagar in Nasik, was taken into custody. This 30-year-old accused was pursuing a BAMS degree. Now we have a reaction from Shubham Khairnar's father, Dr. Madhukar Khairnar, who claims that his son is innocent. Listen in.
नाही त्याचा याच्याशी काही संबंध असू शकत नाही, कारण तो 6 महिन्यापासून नाशिकला आहे प्रॅक्टिसला आणि आपण त्याला दर महिन्याला मासिकीतून खर्च पाठवतो आणि त्याचा ह्या प्रकरणाशी काही संबंध असू शकत नाही. आणि जी काही चौकशी असेल ती शासनाने कायद्यानुसार ती करावी. त्यानंतर मग मधल्या काळात सुट्टी असल्यामुळे तो प्रॅक्टिसला आला इकडं आणि परीक्षेला जाणार होता पुन्हा तो तिकडं.
त्यांनी पेपर लीक केल्यामुळे 23 लाख विद्यार्थ्यांचं नुकसान होणार आहे असे आरोप त्याच्यावर होत आहेत.
आता ते लीक झाला ते आरोप तो होणारच आहे आणि काय जी चौकशी असेल ती चौकशी होणारच, पण त्याच्यामध्ये त्याचा काही हात नसावा तसं ते सिद्ध होईलच, पण तो त्याच्यामध्ये निर्दोष सुटणार आहे, तो निर्दोष असणार आहे.
Our reporters are joining us live. With us is Paras. We also have Priyank as well as Kritika joining us live. But I'm coming across to you first. Paras, now the family members of this accused Shubham Khairnar are denying the charges. His father also, of course, they are in complete denial. This is an individual who was pursuing a medical degree himself, who has now been taken into custody. What is his exact role that the investigators are telling you?
Rightly said, Madhav, this is a matter of investigation right now, and the first person who got detained from Nasik was this person in Shubham. He was detained by the agencies at 12 noon, and after that the investigation started. Please. Now investigators are trying to find his role. What was his role in this entire matter? One more person has been detained in this entire matter, and both are being questioned by CBI, Nasik police, and the Rajasthan agencies. So this is very, very important phase of this entire investigation, because there are NEET paper leaks, and this person is having a major role as per our sources are claiming. But it's a part of investigation, and once the investigation and the questioning will be over, then it will be very easy to
Paras, stay with us. We're going to get some more details to our viewers. In fact, the NTA says that the exam could no longer be allowed to stand. Let me tell you what the NTA statement says and what are the important takeaways from that. They've come out to say that the decision has been taken after inputs have come in from law enforcement agencies. This is reason number one that's been given. The second reason is that the findings indicate that the entire exam process may have been compromised. This is the second aspect. They also say that the exam couldn't be allowed to stand after considering all the evidence before them, and that it's necessary to maintain transparency and credibility in the entire testing system as well. And now investigators claim that they have, all right, let me take this across to Kritika. Kritika, it's very clear that the conduct of this exam itself has been under question not once, but at least on 2 occasions in the past. Third time, they're not able to get it right. Something seriously wrong with the National Testing Agency here.
Well, absolutely, that appears to be, in fact, the case here, because remember, the first time also when such reports started coming in through the means of law enforcement agencies, NTA was very quick to, in fact, reiterate that all of these question papers were, in fact, transported in GPS-enabled vehicles. There has been AI-assisted CCTV technology in order to ensure that no such leak or malpractice even takes place. Just 2 days from, in fact, releasing this statement, NTA has now gone ahead and cancelled the examination that was attended, in fact, by about 23 lakh students. They've also under the process of now announcing fresh dates in the next week or 10 days or so as far as a re-NEET is conducted. But even as of now, questions are being raised because remember there was a 40% overlap as far as guest papers as well as the final NEET question paper was also concerned. Earlier also, back 2 years ago, in 2024, we were reiterating about the demand for a prelim and a main sort of a formula, the way it exists in the engineering exams as well, in order to in fact ensure that there is not one exam on which everything hinges on and all the aspirations of the students are hinged on this one exam, also causing them a lot of anxiety. Okay. Even at that point, no such steps were in fact taken in by the NTA, and now we are seeing that
what really was the NTA doing? Why can it not have better oversight over the conduct of this exam? And who's responsible? Who's going to go to jail and be punished for this kind of a leak of the exam? That's a question that we're asking right here in Times Now. For the moment, investigators are claiming that they've uncovered one of the most explosive parts of the probe so far. A WhatsApp group. This WhatsApp cheat code has specifically been called, in fact, a private mafia, which has 402 members. It's a group that has been made only to upload the leaked exam paper. Don't forward any paper from here outside is some of the aspects that are being discussed over here. And on the 1st May is when the NEET leaked the question paper is what we are told as well. So the password protected group, which has 34 pages of the leaked paper, all of this raising serious questions about how organized this entire racket was. Let's go across to Priyank for more on this. Priyank, a WhatsApp group that has been formed specifically for the purpose of cheating students of India.
See, Madhav, what we got to know that all those 400 students who were part of this particular WhatsApp group were, lured about this particular PDF, and if the parents had agreed to pay approximately around 60 lakh rupees, then they were given the password so that they can open this particular PDF, which was in the form of a sample and mock paper. What was very interesting to save them, they had also made a different pattern, like in the biology paper. Post question number 36, all the questions were similar to what it came on the NET examination. Around 95% of the questions have already matched with the kind of mock paper which has been circulated. What agencies have been suspecting that there have been several channels of electronic WhatsApp, Telegram and other secured communication channels which were used by these accused to circulate this particular to those students who wanted to get the papers done. But what is very important, that the role of the courier is also important because the accused Shubham, who has been detained in Nashik, has revealed it to the investigators that a 30 minutes time period was given by the courier, then the document was scanned, it was given to the solvers, and then it was circulated. So this was not
Paras, Kritika as well as Priyank, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us, because clearly, of course, this is not a story that ends here. There's going to be a lot of twists twists and turns as far as the investigation is concerned, and we at Times Now will do everything to ensure that whoever is guilty for this is brought to the book, is brought to justice, because this is considering the future of lakhs of students who've given this particular exam. And the NEET UG 2026 paper leak is now at the center of a major political storm. Opposition leaders have accused government of failing to act decisively, calling the leak a serious blow to the future of students. Questions are being raised about the Rajasthan government's handling of the case, including why no FIR has been filed despite evidence of a large-scale network behind the leak. Listen in.
मैंने कल ही मांग करी कि आप एफआईआर दर्ज क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो? आपने बैठा रखा उनको, आप उनका अरेस्ट करें, कार्रवाई शुरू करें, जांच शुरू करें। पूरी राजस्थान की बदनामी हो रही थी, पर ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने क्यों ऐसे इंस्ट्रक्शन दिए होंगे। 2024 में पेपर आउट हुआ, 25 में हुआ और 26 में हो रहा है। 3 साल लगातार एनटीए से पेपर आउट हो रहे हैं।
तो उनका भविष्य का क्या होगा? कुछ ओवरेज हो जाएंगे, 1 साल का नुकसान होगा, और सबसे ज़्यादा जो सिस्टम है, हमारी व्यवस्था है, उसमें लोगों का विश्वास खत्म हो जाएगा। क्रमवार तरीके से हर साल होता है और हर साल जांच होती है। सीबीआई की क्रेडिबिलिटी क्या है? सीबीआई को सिर्फ अपने कांग्रेस के लोगों को या विपक्ष के लोगों को दबाने का काम है।
ये जो पेपर लीक माफिया है, इनके अंदर इतना हौसला आता कहां से? इनको सरकार का या कानून का कोई डर क्यों नहीं है? और इसका सिर्फ एक जवाब है, क्योंकि इनको संरक्षण भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग और भारतीय जनता पार्टी देती है। उनके भाई, बंधु, सखा यही सब पेपर लीक कर रहे हैं। असलियत यह है कि आज धर्मेंद्र प्रधान को अपने पद पर बने रहने का कोई नैतिक अधिकार नहीं है।
Let's quickly take this across to our guest now. Joining us with us is Gauhar Mirza, who's a lawyer, has represented the NEET aspirants in the past as well. We've got Amrik Singh, who's an MBBS counselor and coaching institute founder. With us is Neeraj Sharma, educationist. We have also advocate Kapil Madan, political analyst, joining us. Let me start first and foremost with Gauhar Mirza. Gauhar Mirza, what would you say in terms of the manner in which this has suddenly exploded today? Is it something that, was waiting to happen? Because earlier, we have seen statements coming out that all was okay, that rumor mongering should not be indulged in. And now, very clear evidence of this racket that was being perpetuated, and a racket that impacts the future of lakhs of students.
Thank you. I think what I have noticed in the past 1 or 2 years is that we are always anticipating something like this to be happening. Last year also it was challenged before court. Before that also it was challenged before court. But I think we're not learning from the past that whatever wrongdoings happen in these examinations, it is always post facto that we realize that some mistake has happened and then we start doing knee-jerk reactions. Obviously, political issues will be raised around it. However, I would say that some investigation during the time when these issues are brought up by stakeholders, by students, etc., if cognizance is taken at that point of time, these issues can be saved, because ultimately what we are seeing is that students get harmed. Nobody else is going to get harmed by this, but the students who yesterday actually I got a WhatsApp from a student showing a press release where these incident of this paper leakage, etc., was pointed out by NTA, and I think that is where people were trying to approach court, and now they have cancelled the exam. I think it's just unfortunate. However, legally, if you see, there is an investigation ongoing. Every year we see this happening, and I don't think unless we learn from these mistakes, anything can come out of it, and we'll
absolutely. In fact, let me take this question across to Neeraj Sharma. Neeraj Sharma, why are we not able to learn from our mistakes? We know what has happened in the past in 2024 and in 2021, yet once again in 2026, this ugly spectre of exam papers leaked, of the entire exam being cancelled. What about the future of these students? Not all students may even be able to afford the cost of traveling, for these examinations twice in the span of a month.
Madhavan, we should not just look at 2024 or 2026. Papers have been leaking right since 1980s of something which I can think of. And yes, people don't learn, because what is happening is the perpetrators who are behind this are not showcased or not punished properly. If you see the Uttar Pradesh government or the Uttar Pradesh police or police of other states, they come out with videos where they have punished the people who have, done wrong or taken law into their hands. The same way, I think it's time that the administration needs to showcase to the people that if you do wrong, this is what is going to happen. But also I want to, state a fact here. CBSE has been undertaking exams year after year, every semester, but somehow they manage to, sail through without any difficulty. I think it's time that NTA should also look at or take up best practices from CBSE on how to avoid the leakage of these papers.
No, that is of course there. But sir, the question is then why are they not being punished? And who holds, the responsibility of punishing the individuals? Arrest the individuals, punish them stringently. Multiple times if they've been getting away, that means that even in our system, there is some amount of laxity, complicity, I don't know what to call it. But the fact is that people are getting away. I agree with you. And that's perhaps why they're so brazen. Let me bring in Amrik Singh on that. Amrik Singh, why is it that we have not been able to punish the individuals in the past? Individuals continue to brazen it out. Right now, there may be a CBI investigation. Perhaps in 6 months to a year, we'll forget about this once again.
See, you're very much right when you said the same point, because whenever any matter is highlighted, that's highlighted only for a short-term period, right? And then after that, everyone forgets. Student join the institution. The another year come for the counseling, and NTA starts preparing for the next NEET examination. So this is the every year stories. And in 2024 also this had happened, and the only difference between 2024 and the 2026 is in the 2024 they had found the burnt piece of the paper of the real question papers, and the difference is that in 2026 they act very smartly. Instead of taking a question paper out, they took the note of the questions and then they drafted them, and then they made it like a guest paper and floated among the students, right? So the question is, when they will not be severely punished, until then this cheating will not be stopped. So some visible action which should be apparently shared with everyone, every student, and the cheaters who may do it again, this should be there, and these things should be highlighted, published in the media. It should also be circulated so that these cheaters, they should not even try to do it, or they don't try to take a chance of doing it. So these kind of actions should be highlighted, and so then only these things can be stopped. Otherwise, this will continue.
Right. And in fact, let me bring in Kapil Madan. Kapil Madan, now in the state of Rajasthan, there are serious questions as to what really is happening. Whether the state government, there are many who are alleging that people in power knew about what was happening, and why an FIR has yet not been registered is a question that is being asked. Kapil Madan, please unmute yourself and speak.
So Madhav, let me begin by saying this is not a mere paper leak controversy. It's an institutional failure that has national proportion, because I'll give you an example why. When an examination, national examination, where our students prepare day in and day out, there is a cutthroat competition already. And after that, they get to realize that the paper that they've appeared, someone, who got the leaked paper, he's already, passed, obtained exam. I mean, you can't imagine the kind of psychological impact, the kind of, demotivation, and the kind of, setback that student has. And what happens? Look at us, as an institution, as a country, what we do. Another exam, another leak, another re-examination. And who takes the accountability for all of this? There is no one. And I heard my good friend Gauhar here, he's one of the most erudite young lawyer who is doing these kind of cases. We should learn from his example. He has said that, we are witnessing this repeatedly. It's not a one-off incident where, something just happens.
Okay.
Repeatedly, we see instant like this. Repeatedly, there are, press conferences, etc. There are announcements that they will cancel these examinations. But if you ask the accountability, is nowhere to be seen.
Yes,
And
where is the
also,
accountability is the question we are asking right here on this channel. Where is the accountability? There's some breaking news coming in, more updates from the investigation coming in at this point of time. Sources informing us that the seats were allegedly sold for as much, in fact, the papers sold for as much as 60 lakh. And it's a digital medium that is supposed to have played a crucial role in this paper leak, with agencies closely monitoring digital footprints and electronic traces. Investigators suspect the paper was circulated both physically and through digital platforms. All related Telegram channels are currently being scanned by agencies. There are several channels linked to the circulation which have also been blocked reportedly. Agencies suspect that a private courier staffer allegedly facilitated 30 minutes of unauthorized access to secure trunks, enabling the paper to be scanned. That's how it allegedly happened. Let's take this across to Amrik Singh. Amrik Singh, how could this have happened? Why do we have, all this GPS, scanners, couriers, etc., if all of this can be so easily, cracked? If a bribe can perhaps influence people like this?
Very good question. Very good question. Because the same thing had happened in 24, and you know what had happened? What was shared by what was presented by the NTA in the Supreme Court? They had presented all the measures they will follow from the coming years, right? And even the Attorney General who presented the case on behalf of NTA, so they also assured the Supreme Court that time our Honorable Supreme Court Justice Chandrachud Sahab was there. So he assured them that now onwards we will formulate everything, all the procedure will be formulated, the GPS systems will be in place, everything will be in place, right? And now at this point of time, it is just merely looking like a theoretical things or the theoretical commitments, all failed.
Okay, all the commitments have failed. Okay, there's some breaking update coming in. In fact, this is Rahul Gandhi that has also put out a statement on social media, and this is what Rahul Gandhi says. देश के युवाओं के सामने एक गंभीर बात रखना चाहता हूं. एक काम कीजिए, खुद गूगल कीजिए NEET 2024, and in fact, he's asking this question about who was the DG of NTA during the horrific NEET 2024 scam. Where is the Modi government seated him today? See that? Get it now. BJP rewards those who toy with futures of millions of hard-working students. Neeraj, would you like to respond to what Rahul Gandhi is saying?
I think he is doing his job as a politician and as an opposition leader. I think the past has seen that there have been various ways in which the papers have been leaked. And because of lack of technology during those days, we are not able to apprehend the people who are actually behind it, because it's not just one or two people. It's a mastermind, then another bigger mastermind, and it's a huge trail. Now, if we are able to, of course, you asked me about Rahul Gandhi, and I think I have said, but if we are able to look at what Radhakrishna Committee had also highlighted, that there is a vulnerability in physical transport and third-party outsourcing. Now, how can this be overcome? It can be overcome by AI-based question banks. If we can have, or if we can use AI to create
sir, I will just say this. India claims to be, a big IT exporting powerhouse, but when it comes to our own basic homegrown domestic technologies, we are not able to implement IT or AI, whatever it is. And it's high time that administrators also keep up pace with the changing times and changing technologies. That's all we have time for, ladies and gentlemen. Gaurav Mirza, Amrik Singh, Neeraj Sharma, and Advocate Kapil Madan. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.